rosters expanded from 26 men to 28 men. We have 2 additional slots on every team now available for the final 30 days of the season. Do you like this? That's my first question for you.
Like, obviously, I like roster expansion because it makes sense this time of year. You got guys who are gassed, right? And sometimes it's nice for teams to be able to bring guys up
Yeah.
who may have been the 27th or 28th man on the 40-man roster and not getting, and kind of spending most of the year in AAA or coming up and down, whatever. I still prefer the 40-man, though. I wish that they could bring them all up. I love seeing everybody in the dugout, getting to see guys make their debuts who probably wouldn't get to make them till the next year, right? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
got to see Matt Olson like his first few games of his career
Yeah.
because of the expanded rosters. And looking like at the time, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I was sitting next to his aunt and uncle and got to learn a little bit about him. But now looking back, I'm like, that was awesome. That was super cool. I got to see Matt Olson play his first like week in the bigs, right?
That's cool.
So I don't like that they cut it down to 28, man. I get it. I understand, right? Like the owners don't want to pay big league salaries for guys who this might be the only time they make it to the bigs,
Yeah, for sure.
right? So I understand. How do you feel about it? What do you think about the
You
28
know,
man?
I'm with you. I think there's 3 ways of looking at it. The first way that you can look at it is the owner's way, and you've made that argument. You can look at it the player's way. I think you've made a sufficient argument there. I don't need to add to that. But the third way I would add is competitive balance and field of play, like the product on the field. And I'm just not sure 28 versus 40. I'm not sure either are the sweet spot. And I haven't figured out what should be the sweet spot yet, but I don't think it's either. I think we're working with 2 extremes, if that makes
Well,
sense.
so one thing though is you have to remember is that they don't have to expand the roster. They don't have to
Right.
call guys up because I was talking to a guy who was in the Mariners minor league system in 2001, and he said we were waiting for the call-ups. We were waiting and waiting and waiting. We were playing in the
Yep.
AAA championship game in New Orleans, and we found out they're not calling anybody up. They don't want to mess with the chemistry in the clubhouse. They all went out and partied after they won,
Yep.
right? Like
Yeah.
they had their 25-man roster all season long, and they kept it that way going into the playoffs. And
Yeah.
so, you can keep your 26 men. You can go up to 28, whatever, or I don't know. I wish that they had some more flexibility to bring guys up because there are guys that I would love to see get a chance to come up and play in September, especially
Right.
in the Mariners organization. Because I'm going to say it right now, Brig, they're not making the playoffs in 2 weeks. There are guys I would love to see get on that field for the Mariners,
For
but
sure.
they don't want to sacrifice service time, so it's not going to happen.
Right. That now we get into the logistics and the politics and the
Yeah,
gamesmanship strategy, whatever you want to call it, in the front office and all the decision making, and it affects guys' careers, and I get that. It makes perfect sense. I think that injuries are more prone, so especially with arms. So if you added a couple of more, if you gave us 30, or 31, 32 even, I think that would make a
yeah.
lot more sense. You expand the bullpen. Maybe you bring in a guy who can platoon a little, or an outfielder who can move around, DH occasionally, that kind of thing. Maybe a third catcher if you're Tito. If you if you feel strongly about having a third catcher in the playoffs, like he always did, like that would be something it would be much easier to make that decision if you had more than 2 slots that you could
Yeah.
fill. But I will
Yep.
say this. Um, so there have been a couple of notables, and I feel like there are so many players in AAA that are capable, and to your point, missing service time that they are due because of one reason or another that's a front office decision. And we end up with guys like Jason Dominguez, for instance, in the Yankees organization, who has every business being on the big roster. Like he has
Right.
every right to be there at this point. He's killing it. But they're gonna send him, they're gonna keep him down, and then Rizzo comes back and Ben Rice gets optioned back to AAA, and he's been contributing. So it's situations like this year, and maybe it's because I'm paying closer attention, but this year it feels like more guys are being left down and more guys are coming off an IL slot to fill those extra 2 expanded roster slots. And it's just
Yeah.
interesting. Like Rizzo came in, perfect example. Rizzo came in off
Mhm.
for the Yankees, hasn't played since June, fractured his arm. He's back to contributing right away, which is great, right? But um his first game back, he
Well,
went 2 for 4 and got an RBI, got a double, 9 putouts.
mhm.
He's great. It was a great first
Yeah.
first
Well,
game back.
and like the Mariners brought back JP Crawford from the IL just like 2 days ago. I think it was like the
Yeah,
30th or the 31st. And it's like, man, you could have waited a couple days and not sent Dom Canzone back down to AAA, right?
yeah,
Because now he's got to wait 10 days till he can come back. So they brought a couple pitchers, and one of them's going to go back down. It's a whole thing, right? There's more
it's a mess.
transactions, more movement. Just like wait 48 hours, your roster
Yeah, it,
expands, and then you're good to go. So I don't know.
yeah,
It's a whole weird thing because like looking at the Mariners farm system, if it was 32 guys, I bet you, and Mariners fans have been wanting to see Harry Ford so
yeah,
bad. See Harry Ford, and Cole Young feels like he's ready to, right? But those guys, because
yeah.
it's 28, they're not going to get to
Right.
see any time at the soonest next year. And even then, who knows? Who knows?
Anyway, baseball family, let us know what you think. Is 2 enough? Is it not enough? Couple things I want to get into that I think are interesting. Cleveland added first baseman Kyle Manzardo. He's going to DH. He's been DHing. He's already gone 2 for 3 with 2 homers. That was in his first game back, and I say back, even though he's technically a rookie. He had 82 games earlier in the season, and he batted 207. And so they said, "Thanks for coming. Go back and figure some stuff out." And so he didn't. It clearly appears to have figured stuff out.
So
He went two
far,
for three with 2 homers in his first appearance, which is great. The Royals, they dropped Pasquantino. I said it right the first time.
Pascantino, well, they didn't drop him. They lose him to a broken thumb.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like they had a
Pasquatch.
Pasquatch. Thanks. That's probably why I screwed up his name because that's how I think of him. Pasquatch, thumb broken. He's out. So they did a minor league deal with the Braves for Yuli Gurriel, who's
I love this
40.
move.
I
I love
love
this
it. It's
move.
so fun.
Dude,
So
he
now
is
he's coming up
baseball
again.
version of Robert Ory. Bring him in, get to the playoffs. You're gonna get so many base hits out of that dude. So many
It's
clutch
true.
base. You just gotta get there. You just gotta get there, Kansas City. And
Yep.
he's gonna come through for you, guaranteed.
Last one. This is fun. The Nationals added a second baseman and an outfielder. Now the Nationals are not going to the playoffs. It's hopeless. So this is a PR stunt for them. This is a cool opportunity to give the fans some love, I think. Darren Baker made his debut on September 1st. He's Dusty Baker's kid.
Well, and he's the little kid from the video, from the clip
Yeah.
back when Bonds was chasing whatever, right? 73, I
Yep.
guess is what he ended with. Um, Darren Baker is the kid that they pull pull from the
That
dirt
was
because he got in the way.
yeah, at home
Train is on
plate.
the tracks.
Yeah.
He was the bat boy during that stretch. I think it's
So
awesome that now
funny.
he's a big leaguer.
Yeah, it's cool. For the record, he's already batting 1,000. So he
One
had
for
one
one.
at bat and he got a hit. So he's clearly he's on his way to the Hall of Fame. If you weren't paying attention, he's already in the Hall of Fame of our hearts with that little kid video of him being pulled
I
off
was
the.
gonna say he's
Yeah,
on tape in the Hall of Fame already, guaranteed.
exactly. Like we already love him.